Good morning, church. It is good to be with you again today. Today I want to continue on a theme that I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks about how Jesus calls us into service. And one of the hymns that came to mind is one of the most popular hymns I know of in the hymnal that people often request is a hymn called Jesus Calls Us. And it talks about Jesus calling us from our everyday lives. Let me read some of the words to you to remind you about this particular song. It says, Jesus calls us o'er the tumult of our life's wild, restless sea. Day by day his sweet voice soundeth, saying, Christian, follow me. And the words help kind of remind us that God calls us to be more than ourselves, to really be the people that God has called us to be, the ones that are set apart in a way because we're trying to do the things that God is calling us to do. And I was curious about the beginnings of this song. It actually was written in 1852 by a woman named Cecil Frances Alexander, who is an Irish composer of hymns. And most all of the hymns that she wrote were for children. And Cecil Alexander was the wife of William Alexander, who was an Anglican priest, and later became the Bishop of Derry and Rappo in 1867. Well, Alexander authored more than 400 hymns, and these were published in several collections, the most popular being Verses for Holy Seasons, 1846, and Hymns for Little Children in 1848. Well, the lyrics of the song remind us that Jesus is calling us from the various walks of life, as he did the early disciples. And so I'd like to sing this, and I encourage you to sing along. I'm sure you know a lot of the words to this. Jesus calls us. Jesus calls us o'er the tumult of our life's wild restless sea. Day by day his sweet voice soundeth, saying, Christian, follow me. As of old the apostles heard it by the Galilean lake, turned from home and toil and kindred, leaving all for Jesus' sake. Jesus calls us from the worship of the vain world's golden store, from each idol that would keep us, saying, Christian, love me more. In our joys and in our sorrows, days of toil and hours of ease, still he calls in cares and pleasure, Christian, love me more than these. Jesus calls us by thy mercies, Savior, may we hear thy call. Give our hearts to thine obedience, serve and love thee best of all. Well, it's my prayer for you today that you hear Jesus' call in your life. He gives you direction and nudges as the things that you would be called to do to help others to know that they are loved by God, as are you. Go in peace.